Dune 19... Dune, the 1984 adaptation of the book of the same name, directed by David Lynch. That's what we're talking about today. So, this movie is considered a classic by some and much maligned by others. Coming into this movie with no experience of the original source material, or having this movie been a part of my childhood, or any kind of the prior knowledge that would have been great for this film, I had an okay time with this film. It's fine. The hair is big. The 80s are in full swing. The electric guitars are huge. Sir Patrick Stewart hasn't aged a single day. Not a single day. The leads are fine. The acting kind of has that typical Star Trek cheese to it, that sci-fi kind of B-movie feel, and if you're used to that kind of grammar and expression in film and you don't take yourself too seriously when it comes to this stuff, it's fine. It's a fine time. Where the movie really falls apart for me is the story and the pacing. The story kind of treks along at the beginning. There's a lot of communication of the lore that has to be done, and it's done relatively well. There's kind of this opening exposition, and then all the characters are really focused on saying exposition, which is fine. It's a new world. It's complicated. Trying to get all these social structures in mind for the movie is necessary, but the movie then kind of continues to fall apart. There's gaps in time and places where it's very evident that something's been cut from the original source material to make sense of the progress that the characters are going through. And the story overall isn't adapted in such a way where it's compelling on film, because there's just so much missing. So even though this movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes or so, it still feels like it could have been longer. And it's not the actors' fault. The actors are pretty good. Sean Young from Blade Runner is in it. I was surprised to see that. And this is coming right off the bat of the original Blade Runner release. The special effects are okay. They don't hold up quite as good as maybe something like Blade Runner has, or Star Wars has, or even 2001: A Space Odyssey. There's a lot of little factors that kind of build up into making this movie like fall short of the greatest of all time tiers of sci-fi films. Now with the new adaptation coming out, directed by Denis Villeneuve, I kind of wish I hadn't seen this movie. I don't think it's the best way to experience the story, and if you haven't been familiarized with the story and the lore and all that stuff, I'd say maybe skip out on this adaptation. It being directed by David Lynch adds all these kind of interesting psychological elements. There's cuts to like symbolism and stuff like that, and there's a lot of hearing what the characters are thinking, and it's an okay way of translating something from a novel, but I would have just preferred having the actual cinematic aspects of the film to convey this type of stuff. And yeah, I mean, maybe if this film was split up into 3 parts or 2 parts, it would have been better. But yeah, maybe just skip out on it for now until Denis' version comes out, and then maybe come back to this one. It's definitely a hard film for people my age that aren't used to the mode of storytelling that is 70s and 80s kind of sci-fi cheese. Dune 1984 gets a 6 out of 10. It's okay. There's just a lot of stuff holding it back from being a great film. If you have any other classic sci-fi films you want me to look at, just leave it below in the comments. If you made it this far in the video, I'm sure you've probably found what I had to say interesting, so hit that subscribe button and if you disagree with me, leave something in the comments. Maybe we can talk about it. Yeah, that's about it for me.